In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a real-world blockchain application with Chainlink. So if you want to up your blockchain skills and build an app like a pro, then you need to understand this stuff. But don't worry, you don't have to be a pro yet or an advanced developer in order to follow along with this video. I'm going to explain what Chainlink is and how blockchain works as we go. I'll show you everything in this video. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to build pro blockchain apps step-by-step from start to finish with Chainlink, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so let's get into this. So before we start building the application, let me talk about Chainlink and why it's so important for you to understand if you want to build a real-world blockchain app. So blockchains are closed systems that don't have access to outside data. So they only know about, cryptocurrency transactions, people's account balances, how much cryptocurrency they hold, and data inside of smart contracts. Okay. They don't understand what the current weather is, what the outcome of an election is, or what the Bitcoin price is. All right. So these are all examples of real world data that you might want inside of a blockchain application. And that's the problem that Chainlink solves. It provides external data to smart contracts, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do in this tutorial. We're going to focus on fetching real-world cryptocurrency prices with Chainlink, because that's by far the most common use case for the Chainlink protocol inside of blockchain apps, especially when you're talking about decentralized finance, for example. In this tutorial, we're going to integrate a real-time price checker into this dice rolling game. So this is an app that we previously built on my channel a few weeks ago, so you can check out that video if you'd like to. I'll put a link down in the description below, but you don't have to in order to follow along. I'll show you exactly how it works inside of this one. So here's a quick explainer. Basically, this is a blockchain application. It's a betting game where you can bet on the outcome of this dice roll. And if you guess it correctly, then you can double your money. So this game is powered by Ethereum smart contracts that run on the blockchain, and it uses Chainlink to implement randomness for the dice roll. And we're going to upgrade this smart contract to check the cryptocurrency prices whenever we place the bet. And we're going to use Chainlink to do this. Here's a diagram of how the application will work. So the user is going to make a bet directly with the UI, which we saw a second ago. And that's going to talk directly to the Ethereum blockchain, because they're going to connect to it with MetaMask in their browser. And that's going to talk to this betting game smart contract that we've coded in this tutorial, okay? And that's going to talk with the Chainlink smart contracts that we can implement into our project. I'm going to show you how to do that. So it's going to fetch the price from the Chainlink smart contract. It's going to return that price to our betting contract, which will allow us to also get the randomness from Chainlink and use that data when we play the game. Now let's go ahead and install the dependencies we need to build the project. First, you need Node.js. So you can see if you have Node already installed by going to your terminal and typing node-v like this. And if you don't have Node already installed, you can install it directly from the Node.js website, or you can always use a package manager to install it directly from your terminal. Next, we need to turn our web browser into a blockchain browser so that we can use the betting game. So we'll do this with the MetaMask Chrome extension. So just Google MetaMask for Google Chrome, go to the Google Chrome Web Store, and click install right here. And whenever you do, you should see the Fox icon up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Now let's start coding the project. I'm going to go to this GitHub repository and clone the final code solution. So I'll put a link to this down in the description below. But I'm going to clone a very specific branch because, like I said, we built this app in a previous video, and we're going to update it to include this new feature with Chainlink. So if you go to the branches here, and let's just take a look. We'll see this update branch. All right, so click on this. And I'm going to copy this URL. And we'll download the code to our computer like this. We'll say git clone. We'll paste in the URL here. We'll say -b update. Okay. And that's going to be the specific branch that we want to clone, because we don't want to clone the master or the main branch. We want to clone the specific branch because this is the update for this specific tutorial. So that'll download. And once it's finished, you say cd Chainlink betting game. All right. And now let's install all the packages for the project like this. We'll say npm install, and we'll wait for this to finish. And once that's finished, you'll see your success message here. And I'll go ahead and open this in my text editor. I'm using Sublime Text, but you can use whatever text editor you like. Let's take a really quick tour of the project code here. So everything is inside of the source directory. All right, so we've got the contracts here. So this is the bettinggame.sol, okay? This is going to be the smart contract that we're going to deploy to the network, all right? I'm going to explain all the Solidity code here in a minute, but just notice that this is where the smart contract is, and the components directory is where all the code for the React.js application is going to live that we use to play the betting game, all right? So app.js is the main component inside the application, and this is what actually loads the app up so that we can play the game. So we'll go over all this momentarily, but I want to first start with the smart contract, because the first thing we want to do is actually put this on a blockchain. So we're going to copy this, and we're going to head on over to remix.ethereum.org. Okay, so just do remix.ethereum.org, and you should see a file browser over here. Click the plus icon. That'll allow you to create a new file, and then just call it bettinggame.sol. Okay, and then paste the code in. And then we're going to go ahead and put this on a test network. So this is going to be a blockchain that doesn't exist on our computer. It'll be out there in the real world, but it's going to be a test blockchain, so it won't be real cryptocurrency. It'll be fake cryptocurrency that we can use for testing purposes, so it's not worth anything in the real world. We're going to use the Rinkeby test network for this. So make sure you connect to the Rinkeby test network inside of your MetaMask account here, and then go ahead and copy your address, all right? Because in order to deploy the smart contract to the blockchain, we need some Ether, some test Ether to pay the gas fee for doing that, all right? So head on over to faucet.rinkeby.io, all right? This is a website that will give you test Ether for free. All you have to do is create a social network URL for your request. So you'll follow these steps here. Basically, you can use Twitter or Facebook, and you can make a post that contains your Ethereum address, say, requesting faucet funds. So basically, click tweet, and you can see a tweet like this. So what you'll want to do is actually put your address in here, tweet it out, copy that URL, go back to here, and then say, give me Ether. You can select the amount. The more you request, the longer you have to wait before you can request any again. So I've already done this step, but I'll just leave that to you. Next, we also want to get some test link tokens in order to use the application. So go to rinkeby.chain.link in your web browser. All right, and this is the Chainlink faucet. So you can just paste your address in here for the testnet, do the CAPTCHA, and then say, send me 100 test link. And whenever that's finished, you should have some link in your account. So you can go to MetaMask and view your special tokens. So basically go in here. Let's see here, go to your account, click assets. All right, and then you can go to the bottom and click, add token. And you can paste in the link address here from the transaction. You can just copy it, put it back in here, add the custom token, and you should see the link balance here. So I've done this step before, so I have 180 link, but after you do this, you should have 100 link in your wallet that way. Now that we have some cryptocurrency in our wallet, let's go ahead and put this smart contract on the blockchain. So make sure you have selected the Rinkeby test network inside of MetaMask again, and go over here inside of Remix to this Solidity icon. This will compile the smart contracts. We're using version 0.6.6, so that should be good. If you don't see this step, you can go to the plugins and search for the compile and run transactions step, and then also the deploy step. That will give you these two icons. Okay, so go ahead and click that. Click compile. All right, and then next we'll go to this deploy and run transactions. Just as a side note, these are the names of the plugins, deploy and run transactions, and then also Solidity compiler. All right. So anyways, we're going to select the injected Web3 provider. Okay. That's going to use MetaMask. So you can see Rinkeby network was selected here. Here's your account with your Ether balance. We're going to go ahead and deploy it. So we click this deploy button. All right. And click confirm. I'm going to go ahead and raise the gas price so that it happens fast, 50 Gwei. All right, it should happen pretty quick. You can see your transaction here. All right, wait for that to finish. All right, now once that's done, we actually want to send some cryptocurrency to the smart contract, because that's how this game works. Basically, it needs two different cryptocurrencies. It needs Ether, the Ethereum cryptocurrency, in order to pay out the bets, right? So we have to send Ether to this smart contract. It can hold cryptocurrency just like our MetaMask wallet can. So you want to get the smart contract address. You can get it from a few places. You can copy this address from here, right? Or you can get it from this transaction. Okay. So I'm just going to copy it this way. Click this copy button. I'll go to my MetaMask wallet and I'll click send, paste in the account here, and I'll just send it 1 ETH for now. Okay. Click next. Click confirm. All right. And the next thing we want to do is actually send it link tokens as well, because that's how we use Chainlink. We pay the fees in link. We want the contract to hold some link. So you can go down to this link token here that we added a minute ago. Click send, paste in your account here. I'm going to send it just like 20 link for now. Click next, click confirm. And then once this transaction's mined, then the smart contract will be funded. So you can see that. Let's just wait for this to finish. Wait. Whenever it's finished, you'll be able to see the balance on Etherscan. So as soon as it's done, I'll show you what that looks like. So whenever that's finished, you can just click on the smart contract address here, and you can see that it has a balance of 1 Ether, and that it also has some tokens. It has 20 link tokens. Okay, so now that our contract is properly funded, let's explain the code and then demonstrate how it works. All right, so let's look at the new way that we're going to use Chainlink in this tutorial. So we use it in a few different ways, but I want to first focus on the main point of this tutorial, which is to fetch the Ethereum price from Chainlink, because we're going to use it as the minimum bet. All right. So whenever someone bets on the dice roll, we want them to, they need to bet at least $1. Okay. And they're betting Ether, Ethereum cryptocurrency in this case. And we need to understand what the Ethereum price is so that we can calculate $1, okay? Because we don't know that information directly on chain. We're going to rely upon Chainlink to do that. So we're going to use this get latest price. So you can see that here in the Chainlink documentation for Solidity. So we need to import this aggregator, all right? And provide the address of the cryptocurrency price feed that we want. In this case, it's ETH/USD, all right? And here's the address for that. We'll do it for our specific network here, all right? So basically what we need to do is, get the price feed like this. All right, we'll do this inside of our code, and then we'll have a function that will get the latest price, okay? And whenever it does that, we'll get some variables here, like the round ID, the price, started at, timestamp, answered in round. You don't have to worry about what all these things mean. What we really want to focus on is this price right here, because that's the data that we're going to use in our app, right? Try to make it simple at first so it's easy to understand. So let's look at how we implement that inside of our smart contract for this tutorial. So we start by looking at the updated parts. We have an update flag. You can see that all throughout the code here. Okay, I'll go through those one by one. So we start here by importing the aggregator from the GitHub repository, okay, just like they do in the documentation, all right? And then next, we create a variable to store the ETH/USD price, all right? That's here. This is a state variable. And then let's see here, next update. We're going to add this to our constructor. Okay, so the ETH/USD price feed, that's this right here, just like we saw in the documentation. Next, what we're going to do is create a function here to fetch ETH/USD. So this will basically just be a function, and anytime we call this, it's going to get the ETH/USD price from Chainlink. So that's the exact same code as this right here. So get latest price. That's going to be this ETH in USD. And then we also have a function for getting Wei in USD, because sometimes we want to get the the smallest amount of Ether in Wei, like this. All right. So that's the bare bones infrastructure. Those are all the components that we need in order to fetch the actual price. Now we fetch the actual price here, because when we call the game function, this allows the user to make a bet. And whenever they make the bet, we had a requirement in the Solidity code here, require that the value that they're sending in is equal to the minimum Wei value. So Wei in USD, it must be $1. And of course, you could update this and change the minimum bet to whatever you'd like. You'd have to do some math, some actual calculations here. But it's nice and easy for us to see the $1 conversion, because that's the exact same data that comes back from the price feed here. So we just make the minimum bet $1, makes it nice and easy. Solidity has this special require function that is basically whatever's passed into here, whether it's true or false, is important. So basically, if it's true, then the function resumes execution. And if it's false, then this basically returns an error. And then nothing else in the function is called after, nothing in this function executes after this line, and we get this error back. So error, message value must be greater than or equal to $1. So now we can see this in action. Okay, you can go to your smart contract here, and then make sure you expand this menu here, and we can call the functions. So we can look at the actual, prices like this. So we can get the ETH and USD price. Okay. All right. So here it is. We can get the WEI and USD price like this. Boom. All right. And then we can also, call the game function, which allows us to make a bet. Okay. So let's try this. The bet is 0, and the seed is, we'll just make something up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We'll do a real seed later. We'll click transact. And, actually, we need to pass in some value, because that's how it works. You send in some cryptocurrency with your transaction. That's what this value field up here is. Okay. So it needs to be at least $1. So let's make it fail first. Let's just do one WEI. We know it's way less than $1. Okay, let's click transact. All right. And then, we can see our error here. MSG value must be greater than $1. See, that's awesome. So Remix is returning the error in our smart contract code. Okay, that's awesome. Let's actually make it $1.50 or something like that. So let's look up the Ethereum price. All right, so here is the here's the Ether price in WEI. So 1 USD equals this many WEI. So we can just take this and take the decimal places out in our text editor like this, or sorry, the commas out. And then we'll pass this into and let's make it a little bit higher. Let's just say 3. We know that'll be higher. All right. So I'll kill that and go back here, paste in for the value, and then click transact. And then there we go. All right. We can see the amount going in right here before we confirm the transaction that your math was correct. Click confirm. And then there we go. There's our bet. Now let's do a quick recap of the rest of this smart contract. I first wanted to talk about the Chainlink integration with the price feed, because that's the main purpose of this video, is to show you how to integrate that into your application, like we did here with the get price. All right. But now I want to quickly recap how the rest of the contract works. If you want a full explanation, again, I highly recommend checking out that previous video. I'll put a link down in the description below where I show you how the betting game function works. But we'll do a quick recap. And here's the function that we call. It's a game. We do a bet, which would be 1 or 0. This basically is the number on the dice going to be 1 through 3, or is it going to be 4 through 6? Okay, 0 is 1 through 3, 1 is 4 through 6. That's the bet. And then the seed is the random seed used for randomness. Okay. So that calls this get random number function right here. And so we do link. We request randomness. That's the function here. And that's what we get from the Chainlink contract. Okay. So I'll point you to the documentation for that. This is the get random number. We can see here, you just have to add these parts. We get the consumer contract like this. We have at the top of our file. And then we implement this get random number function that works just like the documentation, and we fulfill that request with this callback here. And so we have all those components inside the application to call that for our game. And then if they bet correctly, then they're eligible to win that cryptocurrency. And if they're not, then they don't. Okay. So again, check out that previous video if you haven't already, but that's a quick recap of how this game function works and how we also implement randomness with Chainlink. Now let's boot up the client-side application to play the game in real time with the user interface. All right. So I'm going to open a new terminal tab here and say npm run start. Okay. So this will boot up a web server that should automatically launch a new tab in our web browser here. Okay. So whenever that's finished, you should see a message like this. Okay. Now that we're connected, you want to make sure that you're on the Rinkeby test network. So, make sure you got Rinkeby selected in MetaMask. And then we can play the game. Okay. So we can enter the bet amount. You can see the max bet, and also the minimum bet is $1. Okay. So we're going to do it in ETH. So let's look at, the ETH price in USD, ETH in USD. So $1 is 0.021 Ether at the time of recording this video. So you can look that up in Google if you want to. Let's just do 0.0001 and say it's low, and should give us an error. All right, so that's what we expect. So yeah, it's going to throw an error. So we don't want that. So it's requesting the price correctly. So let's do this. Let's say 0.01 ETH. We should be a lot more than $1. So let's just bet low. We'll play the game and it should work. So let's do the gas price. Let's raise it to 50. Click confirm. And we should see a message here on whether or not we won the game. And then once your transaction is mined, you'll see your message here, whether you won or lost. So we won in this case. So we see a nice happy message here. All right. So that's how you fetch cryptocurrency prices inside your smart contracts with Chainlink. You add them to your application like this. So let's take a quick tour of the client-side application. Again, highly recommend checking out the previous video for a fuller explanation. But the main part of the app is this app.js file here. This is React component. So we made some updates in here on how we load Web3 to make sure it's compatible with the current version of MetaMask. All right, and also that we have the right network. But basically, we get the smart contract ABI and then the contract address, okay, on Rinkeby. So really, you want to take your address from Remix, okay, copy it and put it inside of here. And replace this address. So I'll just go ahead and show you how to do that. Click, let's see here. Sometimes the copy button goes off screen, so I'll copy that. Go back to Sublime Text, change it here. All right. So then we create a JavaScript version of the smart contract with Web3 like this. Okay. And then we load all the data into our app, like the accounts. All right. I explained all this in the previous video, but we store it to the state object. Next, we add this on accounts changed. We listen for that event. So like if we swap account to MetaMask, it'll reload the app. And then also if we change the blockchain, like to the test network versus the main net, it'll also reload the app as well. Okay. So here's the main function, the make bet function, where we give the bet and then the amount. And this basically calls this, game function, right, with the bet and also the random seed. In this case, we just hard coded a random seed. You could make this dynamic if you wanted to, or use a different random seed for the randomness in the game as well. And then we execute the transaction on the blockchain like this. And then whenever it's finished, we trigger the window alert with the state of the game. So if you won, we give you this message, and if you lose, we give you this message, okay? So anyways, here's the React state that stores all the data inside the front-end application. And then we pass all the data and the props down to these two components. Again, I explained that more in the previous video, but here's the main component that, has all the markup and the display logic for the game. And then also this loader, okay? All right, so that's how you implement cryptocurrency prices into your blockchain applications with Chainlink. So I hope you like this video. As always, smash the like button down below, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And there's a lot of different things you can do with Chainlink. It's a really exciting technology, and you need to understand this if you want to build real-world blockchain applications, particularly on top of the Ethereum platform right now. This is really in-demand skill. You can do a lot of different things with this. You can integrate cryptocurrency prices into a DeFi app or something like that. So I actually have a brand new section about Chainlink inside the Blockchain Bootcamp. So if you want to learn more in depth on how to do that, just click this link, go over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp and sign up today. All right, so that's all I've got. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.